the flow, Dan. It was tough. We had hoped that would have qualified prior to going into Glasgow and London last year. We'd had good tournaments. We just had a little bit of a slip up in Japan, in Tokyo last year, which made us go to Glasgow knowing that we had to finish in certain positions, and we probably had one of the toughest pools in Scotland, in Glasgow. We had Kenya and South Africa and Samoa, but we turned it around, and it was nice to be able to go to London having already qualified, knowing that you've got a structured season ready for this year. And they've changed the rules a little bit now in terms of what is the relegation status of teams, but it was pretty tough last year, but I thought we deserved to be in this in the top ranking as a core team as well. I think the Pan American Games was actually the sort of the starting point of it. To go to there, we wanted to do well. We played USA in our pool. We won that game. Then we ended up playing USA again in the semi-final. Winning that game, I think, was a key game. We actually were behind in that game. Nathan kicked that conversion to win the game at the very, very end. And then we played Argentina, who are a pretty dominant force on the World Series. They'd been to the World Cup final when they lost to Wales previously. And by winning that game and being part of that Olympic movement, and I think it also gave the team and rugby a little bit of respect amongst other sports. You know, the Pan American Games are multi-sport games. We had a lot of support there from all other sports and coaches and athletes that were there at the Pan American Games. And I think that made the players realize, wow, this is something special, and this could be, yeah, you know, the Olympics could be on the horizon. We can beat these teams, because we don't often win a tournament. You know, we have won NACRA in the past, but to win what is known as a bit of a major event, I think that was the starting point. And now we try to take that program on a little bit further. But I think that was the key point and the starting point. And it's not often when you see players and you're standing on a podium and see players with gold medal around their neck. And for me, that was a pretty proud moment. I think the gap is closing. I think there's, we had a percentage given to us that in pool games now, about 50% of the games are only won by 10 points or more. So you're within one score perhaps, or just over a score. So the teams are getting closer. A lot of the teams now are far more structured in terms of what their plays, but they're also centrally based as well. I think there's only Spain now that are not centrally based, and every other team is, and that means they train every single day. They've got the full-time staff, they've got the full-time support as well. So you know, therefore, that the tournament's going to be very, very difficult, and you never know who's going to win on that particular day. As you said, New Zealand is our team that we haven't defeated. I think we've come close in certain games, but getting over that barrier is still a difficult one for us. But the players that we have experienced success, and I think that's a plus as well. They can go into tournaments knowing that if they perform, if they execute, if they play up to their capabilities that they can play, then we can win, and that's important.